Pringle looking towards Agard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello, welcome to New York Talk, the Rotherham United podcast. This is a very special episode, as all will become very clear. But it's still a preview show. We are going to look ahead to another South Yorkshire derby with Doncaster Rovers visiting New York Stadium in the early kickoff on Saturday afternoon. Go through the stats, previews, everything like that. Ben is with us. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello.
Wearing a Rotherham t-shirt, yeah?
Yeah.
Danny Glaze with us. You're also wearing
Hello.
a Rotherham shirt, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm also wearing a Rotherham United t-shirt. It's a Rotherham United podcast, as says with the name.
Rotherham mug too.
Rotherham shirts. One of us tonight. I'm sure you're all thinking, "Where's Mick? Ever present? Where is Michael? His big mouth. We're missing his big mouth." Well, his big mouth has got him into a bit of trouble over the past week or so, and he's put himself in a bit of a situation where, if anybody not seen social media over the past week, he's upset a few Wednesday fans, as he does. But for charity, he said he would wear a Sheffield Wednesday shirt if we raised £200 for charity. We've got £400 so far. So, without further ado, Mick is here.
Hooray.
Hello, Michael.
Hello. Thank you for having me on. It's very kind of you.
So, £400 for charity.
Yeah.
So far, if anyone wants to donate, you can always go on our pin tweet or on our website.
442 so far.
Very good.
That's good, isn't it? That's nice.
Yeah. So I think you've got a bet to fulfill.
Well, you said that. There's a bit of a problem with it, right? As you've tweeted out today.
Always a problem.
Yeah. I mean, for a start, obviously my Twitter handle's been changed by somebody on there. I am slightly a different size to Mr. Barry Bannon, who was absolutely, genuinely, hand on heart, been an absolute gent about this and donated a signed shirt, for me to wear. Unfortunately, I have got it, and I will put it is there. Look, so, there it is. Unfortunately, it won't fit over my arm, let alone anything else. So
Mick's not the shape of a professional footballer.
I'm not the shape. No, I'm not. I'm certainly not the shape of Barry Bannon. So there's the shirt. It will be auctioned off to the highest bidder after this,
As opposed to the lowest bidder.
So yeah, there you are.
So Mick couldn't wear that shirt because, like I say, it doesn't fit. So we had to get outside help.
But also, in addition to that, if somebody's going to be paying a decent amount of money, the last thing they want is a sweaty Rotherham fan inside it as well.
Well, you say that because somebody else, when you buy a Sheffield Wednesday shirt, they aren't cheap. So we've had to get outside help. And a big shout out to Dan Nuttall from the Northern Monkeys Football Show. He has helped us out, hasn't he, Mick?
No.
He's helped the right word.
No, help is definitely not the right word. And next time I see a Nuttall, I consider myself well and truly stitched up. Absolutely stitched up. God, that's horrible.
Oh, right.
That is horrible.
Oh my god.
Wow. Oh, I feel a bit sick.
Hey, if you look closely, the owl eyes follow you around the room.
Oh, wow. The thing is, you've got absolutely nobody to blame. This was all your idea.
Well, I have. What I can do now is I can say that not only would Barry Bannon not make our bench, he's not coming at all now at all because of what he's done by donating this shirt and making me actually do it. No, to be fair, I think, having said what I said about him, obviously he's now passed the Paul Warren good human being test.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So therefore he's more than welcome. More than welcome to come and join our fantastic club, and he'll probably do better, to be honest.
Yeah. So this is good. This is gonna be weird.
This
Anyway,
is very weird.
For you,
this is very weird.
Somebody else feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
me, I do.
Yeah, it should, yeah. Thank you to everybody who's done it already. We should say that there's like £400 donated already, and I know everybody is very, very keen to get bidding on the shirt as well, which hopefully will raise all going to Rotherham Hospice, as we mentioned. So it is for a really, really good cause. Yeah, you're such a divvy, you Mick. I can't believe you agreed to that.
I just, if I could get something else to pop up on the screen just to make my camera a bit smaller. I could perhaps push it away a bit more.
Hang on, I've got you. Bear with me.
I thought you might have, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, don't do that to people.
There we go.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, this is really bad for all our audio listeners. We have I apologise. If you're not, just these first 5 minutes are definitely worth just going on YouTube for Watch Mick. I've never seen.
We're going to get clipped again, aren't we? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
I've never seen a person look so uncomfortable in any clothing. I can see you just squirming and fidgeting.
I really don't like it.
Yeah. But we finish off this point. We'll talk about this at the end of the show. But massive thank you to Barry Bannon, who's been a fantastic sport. And he's the one that suggested that he'll send the shirt across to us signed, and within a couple of days we've got it. It is signed, like we've said. And we have the picture from. This is not us just signing the shirt and just saying it. We've got the picture from Barry Bannon doing the signing with the shirt. So it's not not trying to flog it, and we are trying to flog it and raise some money, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in a good way.
To be fair, when we do flog it, obviously whoever buys it, if you want me to sign it as well, I'll be more than happy. Oh God! Come on, let's go on with this and get this over and done with, because this is really hurting me.
What we might do. The last couple episodes have been quite extended episodes. We might extend this to an hour, just so Mick's uncomfortable for a bit longer. We'll see how things go. So,
Wow.
Let's try and get started, guys. Come on, professional. Come on. South Yorkshire derby this weekend. Doncaster Rovers. Yeah, it's difficult to concentrate, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Have we got any other points we want to talk about from the Sheffield Wednesday game? Is there any other points that came up after the game? We recorded the day after, and there was a lot of things said in banter and some not in banter. Is there any other points anybody wants to make from that game? Is any other, has anybody rethought the game? Any thing that you've rethought from the game itself on the 90 minutes?
I mean, to be fair, one of the good things that's come out of it is that the injury to Chio didn't look as serious as we first anticipated. It sounds like he will miss out this weekend, but it's not it doesn't sound serious. And bear in mind, we've now got an international break coming up for us, which is obviously going to benefit him as well. So yeah, that's it really that came out of that game, isn't it? And this shirt thing.
Yeah. Cool. Ben, Danny, anything extra? I just tried to forget about it quite quickly.
Yeah, just sank about 6 beers and then moved on.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on to another South Yorkshire derby, as we mentioned. Doncaster Rovers have come up visiting this weekend. First time they've visited New York in a competitive game. I say competitive. That doesn't include the JPT or whatever it's called nowadays. Since the 2-1, the late 2-1 win in 2018, I think it was. Lots of things have changed since then. I think they've been through 2 or 3 managers since then. So it is a completely different Doncaster Rovers which we're coming up against. They have had, Danny, a wretched start. 4 games, 1 point. I mean, they weren't expected to be running away with league, but that is a terrible, terrible start for Donny.
Yeah, and their only goal so far has been scored in the opening day of the season against Wimbledon, and they lost it 2-1. I mean, they have got a couple of draws in there, like they drew in the first round of the Carabao Cup and then won on penalties. They had a good draw against Portsmouth, which is where their single point came from. But yeah, to only have scored one goal in your opening six, really. Is it opening six?
Yeah,
opening six.
Games,
yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. If I were a Donny fan, I'd be like, "Why have we only scored once?" But yeah, in terms of like you said, Donny won't be like running away with the league or anything. But you'd think they'd want a strong position and like just pushing towards the playoffs. But if this is starting how you mean to go on, Donny won't do very well this season.
No, they won't. What I will say is, just to promote us again, we've got the scouting report on our YouTube channel with Liam Oden from Donny Free Press. So if you haven't checked that already, that will have gone live last night at 9 o'clock. So if you haven't watched that already, get on there because he'll tell us all about in a bit more detail about Donny, what to expect from them and their start. Go and make you an assessment.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I listened to obviously as. Bearing in mind what I'm dressed in, this was I was on Football Heaven the other night. They were asking about it, and prior to going on, there was a Donny fan on. I don't know whether he's a supporter or a journalist or what, but he was obviously very knowledgeable about the club. And it sounds like they're in a bit of a rebuilding stage at the moment at Rovers. They are not expecting to do anything this season, or certainly from. I'm basing this purely and simply on what this chap was saying. They're just expecting to open to consolidate and starting to build a sustainable club. It sounds like the board have got, from what he was saying, have got the head screwed on right. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. But they're trying to sort of, basically build a club that's going to remain rather than boom and bust kind of situation. A bit like my shirt. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know whether that's right, but certainly I wouldn't expect them, based on the information that I've sort of had over the last few days, that they're going to be anywhere near challenging this season. You never know. But my sort of feeling and understanding is that probably they're going to be lower half of the table this season, and certainly their opening games form, if you like, is sort of. Bears that out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I also did Darren Moore last year, 2 years, not just last year, the year before, Ben. And this is a problem with clubs like Donny, and for somebody like us, if we had a different type of manager, if you give a young manager a chance, like Darren Moore, or like MK Dons did with Russell Martin, they can get easily snapped up by a bigger club before their project has been completed. So they get given the chance by, in this case, Doncaster Rovers, and because another chance has come up, off it pops, and now Donny left it lurch. They've got to start all over again. It must be so frustrating. We might be in that situation in a few years' time. You never know. I can only imagine how frustrating it must be for those supporters.
But why would you want a manager who's just going to up and leave?
Well, that's what I mean.
Want to finish what he started? We say one might go in a few years. At least he's finishing what he started. Do you know what I mean? He's been here 4 years, 5 years? 4 years?
5 years. 2016, right?
Yeah.
Darren Moore wrote Donny what? How long?
Less than 2.
Less than 2 years. So, yeah, I bet it is frustrating. I bet it's annoying as anything. Cause I bet Darren Moore sold on this big dream of, I'm going to be here for 40 years and win Champions League. And you know what I mean? And he's probably up and left to a bigger club. But it is a big club. Not a better club, bigger club. But...
Yeah, we've got a bigger ground.
You've got a bigger fan base. They're not a better club. They're a better team. They're not a better club. Let's just get that straight.
Yeah. Well, they've had the busiest summer. I think it's 11 signings. I've counted 11 signings that they've brought in. That's always, yeah.
I
but it's a new manager.
Yeah, they got rid of that Marquis, didn't they? Marquis?
He went for $2 million to Pompey.
Jeez, wept.
Yeah.
But he was their danger man from what I remember. Their best player. Weren't really dangerous.
They were, yeah. Last time we played him at our place when Darren Ferguson was in charge, and I think if John Marquis didn't score, he was still there as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
Looking through there, we were talking about it before we started recording, Danny. You look through their squad list, and I have heard a couple of players. John Bostock, who's a very, very old school name. I think he was back at Spurs a long old time ago. John Taylor, obviously a standout. I mentioned Omar Bogle. That's it. There's no other real. I've heard of their keeper because he made a couple of penalty saves this season. They're not brought in any real names. So that, in a way, it's a risk. But at the same time, I suppose it's a little bit of pressure off because they're not names, so there's no pressure on them coming in, I suppose.
Yeah, you could say that. Like I say, they've not made any marquee signings per se. Like you could say, one of our marquee signings was Shane Ferguson because of his background. But we Donny, like, yeah, they signed Omar Bogle this season, right? And we were linked with him a bit ago, whilst he was still at Grimsby.
Grimsby, yeah.
Yeah,
and then Wigan.
Yeah, and then Wigan. So that's one name that we know. John Taylor, obviously, because he used to play for us and then went for Championship football, but didn't work out for him. But yeah, there's no real names on the team sheet that like jump at you. You know, like I say, it could be a bad thing because there's no real names and known quality in the team. But then on the flip side, you could say, well, if one of these players turns out to be a diamond that no one's heard of before, that could bring in more money for Doncaster, and then they could sign someone who was more well known at this level or even at a higher level. So, but it's an interesting gamble we've gone for. Sign the players who look good in terms of watching them and hope they do it for you, and then potentially move on for bigger money without really having one of the big names. You know, they lost Coppinger because he retired. So that's their big name gone. And same with Marcus going to Pompey. That's another big name gone. But so far it hasn't really clicked for him. But then again, you could say that was the same with us when we made 11 new signings a couple of seasons ago. It takes a little bit for you to get going. But I don't know, they don't really have like a goal scorer in the squad this time round, which is a little bit worrying after your first 6 games. But, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, let's bring it back to us a little bit, Mick. The derby, talk about the derby itself. You've been watching football longer than us. We've played Doncaster a lot of times. It's something like 80-something times. 80, this will be the 87th game we've played with Donny. So it's a game we've played a lot over the years.
Yeah.
It doesn't, to me, in my life, we haven't played that much because obviously got relegated to National League, and there's been periods of time where we haven't played them for a period of time. For me, it's not as fierce a rival as, well, any of those, really. I'd probably put Donny below even Barnsley, Sheffield United a little bit, but it seems quite fierce for Doncaster. I don't know if I'm misreading that. So, Donny fans, if I'm misreading that, I'm not trying to bait. If you want to buy it, you can buy it, but I'm not trying to.
They'll be wearing a Donny shirt next week.
Yeah. What's your view of the derby? Because it's been 86 games. I imagine you've seen most of them.
Yeah, all of them actually. Our manager of Rotherham for first one in 1872. No, I mean. The thing is...
Were you not playing?
No, I didn't play. No, my playing career were over by then. What question? No, I remember. Most of the time, with the exception of the pointless derby between Palace and Brighton, most of the time, derbies are about geography, aren't they? You know, essentially the clubs that's closest to you. And for us... that happens to be these people here, because geographically they're closest to us, and also geographically, most of the fans live with us. You know what I mean? So most of their fans live in our town. So geographically, that's why it's more important to us as Rotherham United supporters than the Doncaster one. Donny is a bit of a place geographically, again, as I keep saying, that out on its own. You know, apart from us. Well, I think we're probably the nearest town. Apart from us, it's Scunthorpe, which is miles away. You know, so no. I mean, I don't see it. I almost don't see it as a derby, if I'm perfectly honest. I know they're in the same county, but it just seems. And this is not a dig in any way, because I'm not going to dig at anybody anymore. Because I've fallen for egg under hat with that before now, and I'm not doing it again. Well, not till February anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know. I just don't see. It just doesn't feel like a derby to me.
Okay, I have a second follow-up question. Another Mick phrase that I've not heard of before. You fell for the egg under the hat.
Like a magician, innit?
What?
You're going to tell me you've never heard for
Like a
falling for A on
magician.
that?
Like a magician.
Oh,
I assume it's
right.
the top. I assume it's a magic reference, but I didn't know egg under the hat was a magician's trick.
It's not, is it really?
Yeah, it doesn't make
that-
sense.
And like I say, I have no idea what it means then.
Oh, come on. Well, I'm not going to explain my weird, apparently
Just
weird
say-
in inverted commas sayings. If you've heard that one, then
You just say it's not fun when the rabbit's got
No.
the gun. That makes sense.
yeah.
That's another one I've not heard of as well.
No, I never
It's
heard
not
of that
fun.
either.
Not fun when the rabbit's got the gun.
What does
That
mean?
makes sense. When you're hunting, it's not fun when that rabbit's got the gun and he's hunting. you.
Right.
I
Not
thought it was
fun
on about
anymore.
pulling a rabbit out of a hat and the thing's got a gun.
No.
No,
no.
That's
it's
a
on
different
about
type of magic
magic
trick.
and pulling a rabbit out of a hat and it's got a gun, you know.
This is
I'm
a
the
football
magician now,
podcast,
sort
isn't it?
of thing.
I
It
feel
is,
like I've,
but
I
but
feel like I've slipped
I feel like
into
if
an
I've
alternate
not heard of
universe.
it, if I've not heard of that, then anybody my age, there's a good chance they won't have heard of it either. So
I just heard you say it.
I'm trying to do a public service. That's all I'm trying.
It's that shirt, it's affecting him.
That's it. And also, the longer I talk nonsense for, the longer you've got to wear that shirt for. So,
I think
Welcome to a special 2-hour edition of New York Tour.
oh, fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna have Ben a question. Ben, right? We had a question from YouTube, Ben. So bring it back to Rotherham United completely. Although it does still sort of relate to Doncaster. Kieran Sadlier. He is almost certainly going to play on Saturday. Chio's not going to be playing, so you would assume. And Ferguson is a little bit of a doubt. He hadn't trained on Thursday, so he may still play Saturday, but he may not start. So for me, Sadlier's almost guaranteed to start. There had a question from Danny Smith on YouTube asking about him. So I'll read you the full comment and then we can talk about it. Danny Smith thinks that Sadlier is first team quality, or he has certainly got the potential to be. Is it like Warney says he's trying a bit too hard at the moment? Danny Percy thinks he could be decent for us, but his wild shots and general decision making make him frustrating. He was at the Wednesday game and he never looked confident with receiving the ball. No complaints about the penalty, just wanting more from open play. And I think that's it, Ben. Let's forget about the penalty. The penalty is almost irrelevant to the way that Sadlier played. It was just one of those things. But his overall general play, there were so many question marks about his play. He's got so many questions to answer, and quickly.
Yeah, I mean, shooting from 30 yards. And we where we were sat, it was that's close. Watching the replay, it's about 20 feet wide.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, do you know how annoying that is to play with, to watch, to manage? Like, I can only imagine the frustration when you're playing with that. It's so demoralising to the fans, to the players. He's got a lot to answer for. He did nothing. Like, nothing. What did he do? Miss a penalty and that's it. I know he's a good save and that, but that's the fact, isn't it? Excuse me. If he's that bad,
No, let's stop. Apologise.
I'm sorry.
Ben's sorry for burping.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If he's gonna be playing, then yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it. If I'm being honest.
Do you think he's got the tools, Ben? From what you can see from him, and to be fair to Sadly, we haven't seen that much of him. Let's be fair. We haven't seen 46 games. It's not Wes Arden who's playing lots of games, so we know what we're getting. From what briefly you've seen, do you think he's got what it takes, technically and mentally?
Everybody's got what it takes. I don't think he's willing to put it in, though.
So he hasn't got what it takes. He ain't got it. It's what you're saying. You don't think he's got it to do it mentally.
I don't think he can be bothered to or wants to. Everyone's got the ability to do it. Like, there's no such thing as natural talent. There's just no such thing as that. But I don't think he wants to, judging by his work ethic on the field. I mean, wow. Like, wow, he's jogging balls down. Their defenders, like, shielding it to go out, and he's just jogging behind. Oh, yeah. No, like, it really is bad. It's bad. Like, there's no other way I can describe it. It's all around bad work ethic, technical skills. bad.
It seems strikes with them players, Danny, that when things aren't going very well, it looks really, really bad because of all these things that's been mentioned. Because his work rate's not up there with Chio's, for example. But he's got to have it. He scored loads of goals at Donny. When it clicks, and that's an if, it's going to be spectacular. But it's just that question: is it going to click in a Rotherham shirt for him?
I think the issue with Sadlier is that he hasn't had a good enough run out consecutively in the squad. Starting wise, anyway, it's like it was the same in the Championship. He never got a consecutive run out starting, and I think that's why the rumours appeared that he's the player who was asked if he can leave. Like if you've been reading the Rotherham Advertiser, like I'm sure us four do, maybe not Ben, but anyway. But if you've been reading the Advertiser, there's the rumour come out that when players come into the office and asked if he wants to go, and Warney is quite hilariously shot him down, saying, "Don't hide behind your agent. If you've got a club who wants you, come and see me yourself." And then it's all gone quiet. So that could be an agent issue. But if it still plays in your mind, if your agent said, "Oh, you could do better somewhere else," you start believing it yourself. If someone who's guiding your career effectively starts telling you that. So maybe Sadly got it in his head that I could do better somewhere else because I'm not getting run out in this team. But maybe Chio's injury gives him that chance to show what he can actually do. But if he's took any advice from Warney on board, it's just don't try too hard. Like we've seen what he's capable of against Accrington, where he was the only player who got shots on target that game. But then we can also see what he's like when he is a little bit less arsed, like with Sheffield Wednesday. You know, and his best moment was the penalty. It was the power in the penalty, and then, like Ben says, he was just jogging about afterwards.
Is it because he's less arsed or playing against better players?
Could be that as well, and it sort of demoralised him, saying that team is too good for me. But then he's like, "But I'm not getting run out in Rotherham, so what's going on?" You know, it's an interesting case with Sadlier, and I hope he does well against Doncaster because number one, it'd be funny against his old club, and number two, it's like show us why we signed you, we signed you, and Warney sees you as a winger, you know, or play midfield and show him that's your position in midfield instead. You know, I just want to see more from him, if that makes sense. He's not like pulled any roots up. He's just sort of gone into the team, done his bit, and then full-time whistle's gone or he's gone off. You know, he's not really dug himself in and gone, right, I need to prove myself. Prime example, Ollie Rathbone. Ollie Rathbone's come straight in and proved why we've signed him. But sadly, has had this chance to do that in the Championship. Didn't really cause much of a fuss, and it looks like it's the same this season. I hope it doesn't pan out that way because it's never nice seeing a player who isn't invested in your club. But at the same time, just get yourself involved more. You know, look arsed. That's my message to him. Just look arsed.
Mick, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with either of those points of view. In as a whole, I'm disappointed. I feel sorry for him. He's had no run in the team whatsoever.
He's made 17 appearances. That's
all right.
Mostly subs.
It's irrelevant.
Oi, what? I'm going to mute you in a minute.
I'm just saying it's relevant.
I'm going to mute you, Ben. I'm not convinced, and somebody will correct me. I'm sure Ben will correct me. I don't think he's started consecutive games for us while he's been with us. I might be wrong, but I don't think he has. He's clearly one of those types of players who's going to take him 2 or 3 games to get back into to start making an effect. I remember a time not too many seasons ago, well, quite a few seasons ago actually, where when Richard Wood were injured, it took him 2 or 3 games to get back into the swing of it before he actually got back to the level that he was before. Kieran Sadlier has not had that opportunity for whatever reason, whether it be injury or other players in the same position playing at the top of the form or whatever. So I'd like to see him get a run in the team. He's clearly got it. He's clearly got the ability. There's no doubt about that. We've certainly seen flashes of it. It's whether he can do it consistently, and maybe, just maybe, he's one of these types of players who needs to bed himself into that first team a little bit first of all with a starting berth. I don't know. Some players are like that. I just like to see him get a run.
according to Transfer Market, he started the first 3 games of last season. He included the League Cup tie. He then only started 2 more games for the rest of the season. Bear in mind, he was injured for a reasonable length of that.
Yeah.
5 starts in total. Not in 6 if you count the League Cup game this season. Maybe he's not had enough time. You might be right. Kirky Broadfoot were a similar one. It took him. How many games did it take Broadfoot to get back into the swing of things?
But what
times it were 10 games.
What have you seen from him that makes you want to start him?
I think he's got pace.
Well,
I think he'll take a player on.
Is that it?
You look at that Morecambe game. Look at that Morecambe game, and I know that we're only probably 10 minutes, but it looked really threatening in that Morecambe game. He travelled with the ball really well. He had a long shot, but that was more central. That was a different position that we were asking him to play against Accrington and against Wednesday. So is he more of a central player, or was that just a good game for him to play in?
He played well for me. He played well against Morecambe because it's Morecambe, right? They're not very good. He played all right against Accrington because Accrington are a good middle of the table side. He didn't play good against Wednesday because Wednesday are good. For me, you can't just play good against the bad teams. If you're not going to play good against the good teams, you're not a good player. For me, last time that I checked, having pace wasn't good enough to get in the start. And last time I checked, not having a run in the team wasn't a good enough excuse not to put the work in.
Well, I mean, I might have finished my sentence, but I got you jumped on me, mate. So, I think he's got the skill. I think he's got technically. I think he's good enough. I think he's certainly got he's certainly dangerous when he's got the ball at his feet in and around that 18-yard box. So he's got the attributes. Definitely has, I'm sure. You don't become a professional footballer. No, you don't become a professional footballer at this level and being bought by a club going up into Championship to play at that level without the ability. You just don't. End of.
Wait, what games have you seen him got technical ability in?
He's only played 5.
17.
He's obviously got ability.
17.
He's obviously got ability.
I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm blind. But I agree. He scored a lot of goals at Donny. 7, maybe a lot of goals.
21 in 60 games in just 21 in 59 games for Donny, which is a very good return for not a striker.
It is. Personally, I haven't seen it, but I've missed some of the games. I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen anything really.
When
It'd be interesting to see how many of those goals came from midfield and not from the wing,
and how many came from set pieces.
Yeah.
When he turns it around, Ben, I'll let you know.
That's going to take research. I ain't got that for you right now.
Prove me wrong. I hope he does so he can win, but I just don't see it. I don't see not what the hype is about, but I just don't see it.
Well, let's hope he's going to get a run. He's going to get at least one more game. I say a run. He's going to get at least this game, depending on how bad Chio's injuries. So it's his chance. He's got to see it like that. He's got to see it like this is his chance, unless he does want to leave. And if he wants to leave, good luck to him. Yeah. But he's got to take this chance, because if right now we're going to finish the Sadlier chat in a minute because we've gone on for probably longer than we need to. But if I'm an outside club looking at Kieran Sadlier, I'm thinking, why would I take a risk on him? Because his wages won't be cheap. He'll not be on $1,000 a week. He'll be one of the higher earners. So why would an outside club take a risk on that? And that's the thought behind potentially looking at that. Sums up Danny's move. That's why I think he's right. I think it is Sadlier that's had that conversation with him. Realistically, with the market as it is, who has got the more funds to take that risk? So he's got to do it. He's only on a 2-year contract. He is out of contract in the summer, so he needs to get his head down and get playing. Otherwise, who knows where his next move could be?
Yeah, I don't take that risk in the 5 days we've got left of the window. That was bad. I had to think about that. That was bad.
Well, 4. By the time people listen to this, it'll be 4.
Yeah, it's Mick's shirt. It's still affecting me.
Affecting you.
Before we come back to the Donny game, it is time to talk about transfer market. Silly season normally kicks in about July. It's taken until 5 days from the window closing for silly season to kick in from top to bottom of the transfer window. Michael Smith is now been strongly linked with a move away. It was initially linked with Cardiff, Borough and Bristol City. Bristol City have since distanced themselves. It's unlikely for Middlesbrough to make a signing from him because they've got the guy from Wickham. The only place he could probably go, Mick, would be Cardiff, but that's also dependent on Kiefer Moore getting a move, which is strongly linked again but Keith Moore is still at Cardiff as we speak. This could all move very, very quickly, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. It could, and it could put us in lurch a little bit. We're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? We're going to have to wait and see. We've got to be realistic about this as supporters. We know the situation as far as Rotherham United are concerned. Rotherham United will not bring in somebody for the sake of it, and they will not bring in somebody that can't afford to play or don't fit into wage structure. And whether that means we go through until January without a recognised striker, without another recognised striker in the squad, then that's how it's going to have to be, unless there's any free agents out there. It's going to have to be.
If Michael Smith
happens, if
Michael Smith goes, it is 100% vital to the season we get another striker in. We cannot. We just can't go from September to January with Freddie and Coyote.
I think
It's not enough.
So are you advocating then that we just get somebody in because they're a striker, or we pay more than we're paying everybody else just because we need a striker? Are you advocating we do that? Because ultimately, potentially, those are the two options we're going to have.
Well, we're going to depends on how much money we get for Smith.
Yeah, the rumour's 1.5 in it.
Yeah,
but they're still going to fit into that wage structure.
But a loan is less likely to have to fit into it. If you've got 1.5 million, you could spend that on a loan.
You could do, but look at these clubs now. That all of a sudden we're starting to ask for £1 million loan fee.
Well, that's mad. Yeah,
what
that's
the hell? I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, that is just. I mean, that's stupid. That's really, really, utterly stupid, isn't it? You know, a loan fee for £1 million. Oh, spend £1 million on a player who's going to be ours for 5 years.
Yeah,
it's just futile.
It depends on what your aims are. If your aim is to be happy mid-table, you can go from August to January with Freddie and JJ. Those two are just two strikers. We've already seen what happens when one player gets injured with three strikers.
Yeah.
If Smith goes, you have to at least right now with three strikers we need a fourth. Mm-hmm. If Smith then goes, we need at least a minimum one. If we don't get one, that we could find ourselves in a really bad situation in terms of systems and how we can play and what we can do. Without a Smith type player, it limits us.
It's going to be really difficult. It's going to be a really difficult last few days, particularly if Smithy does go. But I can't imagine that Warney and Rob Scott are just sat there round with their feet up, not doing aught about it. You know, but it's got to fit. It's got to fit.
It's irrelevant who you bring in because no one can replace Smith. You're not going to find a replacement for Smith within the next 3 years. Because I'm being dead serious. No one's going to put the work. No one's good enough at that level to replicate what Smith is doing.
Nobody thought Smith were.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Someone needs to come and put in the work. Personally, I think if Smith goes, I think that promotion very hindered a lot. But I think we've got a lot of money to rebuild. A lot of money to. I hate that word. I hate that phrase. But we've got a lot of time to take our time and be patient, make the right moves, and pick the right people, and do certain things because we've got a lot more money than other clubs. Because we're a well-run club, and if Smith does go, it's going to be 1.5, and that's a lot of money in this transfer window for a club who's not paying a lot of wages. So, listen, it's one of them things. If he goes, we're in a good position. If he doesn't, we're in a good position. So, I think he deserves to go. Personally, I think he's the best player in this league.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I do agree with that. How much hardball would you play, Danny? In terms of not in terms of cash, because the cash, by all accounts, the level's been set. 1.5 million is apparently the asking price. That's set. That's line in the sand type of thing. But if we can't get a replacement in, even if we get the cash, would you let him go?
I mean, it comes down to that thing of Smith's worth 1.5 million, but if you take the gamble on promotion, you get 6. You know, it's like I don't like looking at it that way because that 6 million, it's not set in stone. But if you sell Smith, you can get 1.5 or just not let him go, or you can get above that. But it's interesting that Cardiff are on the edge of losing Kiefer Moore, and they want Smith as his replacement. Now, when we lost Kiefer Moore, but when he went back to Barnsley, we had him on loan from
Ipswich
at the time, and then we brought Smith in as his replacement. So I don't know if that's where they've tied the two together. I'm not sure, because Cardiff seems to have come from nowhere. Like, it's been Middlesbrough and Bristol throughout nearly the whole window. Middlesbrough's got somebody else in, Bristol have played it down, and now suddenly, Cardiff want him. You know, it could be clutching at straws, it could be some truth in it, but like you say, if it is true, it will move very quickly. Now, with our current spending, because we've only got one loan player at the minute, which is Reggie. All the rest we've paid fees for, whether it's nominal or in terms of the other club substantial. We can't afford to be spending a lot of money on another player without bringing in money first. Because of our income level, we'll start teetering towards financial fair play. You know, which seems bizarre because clubs who have had a loss of nearly 40 million haven't been affected by it, but a club that's only lost 5 million because of the pandemic is tilting that way because of our income level. Anyway, so it seems interesting that even if we want to bring in another striker, which we are looking at, you know, we are still exploring the options of a striker or a number 10, it would either have to be a loan on the cheap, like towards like the very end of the window, or on a free from a club that's released him. So you could say, if we get more income from Smith, we could spend a bit more money on bringing somebody else in. But at the same time, no concrete interest has appeared from Smith yet. And one has just confirmed it in Thursday's press for the Donny game. No formal bid has come in. There's been more interest in Barlaser than there has with Smith. You know, so it could be a case of, it could just be hot air that people have formulated on social media. There could be some truth in it, but there's nothing on our end that's substantial, really. And like Warney said, the price would have to be right. We're not just going to sell him for the sake of selling him. We'd have to get good money for him.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you said, there's 4 days left when this goes out. So it could move quickly, but it would have to be 1.5 million plus for Smith to leave. Like with Crooks, it was 1.5 million with add-ons. But that was our asking price for him. And if we don't get the asking price, we're not going to sell him. That's why we turned down the foreign club that came in for one of our players, and the price was quite insulting. So we just went, no, off you go. But nothing concrete. No need to panic just yet, as I've seen a few fans are doing on Facebook, which is like the new Rotherham United moaning page. So it's a strange one with Smith. He deserves the move, yes, but does he want another crack at the Championship with us if we go up? Probably. Or we could lose him for free, but make sure we get at least a bit of money for him and not make the same mistake as Ola Sunday.
Yeah, this may rumble on. For me, it's from the outset. It looks all dependent on Kiefer Moore, who I think has been linked with Palace, although I may be wrong with that one. Palace are desperate for a striker. Wolves again, similar, but if they've got Jimenez, but he's had his issues, so they will be strongly inclined to bring something like Kiefer Moore in. Let's keep an eye on it. Like I said, it's all going to move very quickly. There's been no rumours of names incoming because I think any incoming is a lot dependent on Smith, so we'll see how that goes. Let's bring it back to the Doncaster game. Mick, how are you seeing us set up on Saturday? You're going to go similar to the Wednesday game. Sadlier in for Ogbene
for Chio.
Does Freddie come back in?
No, I think Chio won't. I think the news is that Chio won't play on Saturday. I think so. I'd have Kieran Sadlier in there. I understand Shane Ferguson. Sorry, Shane Ferguson. Why did I say Shane McDonald? I don't know Shane McDonald.
You think it's Sean McDonald? I
am. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's this shirt. It's just hurting my head. It's hurting my eyes. It's hurting everything. Shane Ferguson, I understand, pulled up with a bit of a foot injury today. Nothing too serious, but so I suspect he won't be risked either. So the team will probably be, for me, probably the same starting 11 with the exception of Chio. So Sadlier in for Chio and probably Mikel Miller in for Shane Ferguson.
I'd like to see Miller play.
Yeah, I would definitely.
It gives us something different. It gives similar threat to Cheers, doesn't it?
Yeah, but those are the two changes I see personally.
Yeah. Ben, another question. Back three for me set in stone, as long as they're all fit and healthy. On defensive news, Curtis Tilt is almost back ready, and he is scheduled to play in the Pizza Trophy, which is against Doncaster, the next game, week on Tuesday, which I think is away at the Keep Moat. And that's interested in that one. The only other question then becomes, Ben, what are you doing with your strikers? So assuming that Smith stays with us between now and Saturday, which I wouldn't have thought he would have done, you're going to start Michael Smith. Are you then playing Coyote, or are you bringing Freddie back in?
Coyote. I think he's played well. I think he's played really well. I mean, we didn't see much of Freddie. I don't think it was Freddie's type of game, if that makes sense. He's not really a derby, scrappy kind of guy.
Unless it's 96 minute.
It's 96 minute. But yeah, it wasn't really a scrappy goal. It was a beautiful goal. It wasn't but yeah, I mean, I'd start Coyote. I think he looks well. I thought he played better than Freddie when Freddie came on.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I'm not in training, so I don't know who's. I mean, Coyote could have had a stinker in training, but if it's off games, I'd play Coyote.
Yeah, I think it's fair. We talked about this before the start of the season, Danny, and that Cody won't start the season, but there's always that possibility it could force his way into the starting 11. And when he went off on Saturday, that made things so much easier for Sheffield Wednesday because they only realistically had to deal with Michael Smith because Freddie is not strong enough. Coyote gives you such a threat in the air or on the ground with the pace. Is at the moment for me, by rights, you should keep Freddie out Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. I think Freddie will come on later in the game when we've decided the tempo of the game. You know, whether it's in our favour of Doncasters, but from having a quick scan of the Stoke game, like I know it's a cup game, so you can't really base the league off that. But the way Stoke got round Doncaster on quite a few occasions is by getting it round the back line and getting onto that ball. Now, out of the two strikers, I'd put that more on Freddie to be alert to that ball behind. But at the same time, JJ will be the strong player who will get through them or drive at the defence and create a chance for him. Like, we haven't created the most chances in the league for nothing, have we?
True.
I think have we got the highest XG of anybody in the league so far?
Top of the XG table. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at least we're at top of something.
We should get 3 points for that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, 3 points, bonus point, end of season. But yeah, I do think we will play a similar team to the Wednesday game, potentially with Miller and Sadlier instead of Ferguson and Ogbenny, because Ogbenny's out 100%. We might not risk Ferguson for this game, just in case. But I don't know. They said he should be all right, so he might feature, but that might be later in the game. But yeah, I'd go same team as we played against Wednesday, but obviously without Chio and Fergie.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If we'll go score predictions, and then we'll talk about the postponement. Mick, score prediction against Donny.
2-0 Millers.
Do you want me to tell you how wrong we all were against Sheffield Wednesday? Because we all had an absolute stinker.
No.
Excuse me.
Ben went 2-0 to Rotherham. That got clipped on Twitter, by the way, Ben.
Yeah.
He did. Ben, what's this one?
2-1 Rotherham.
2-1.
No, I don't think they're going to score, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0. Okay. I will go 1. I went 1-1 when I spoke at the radio. I'm going to stick with that. I don't know. I think we still need time. I think this break's coming at us a good time, which we'll talk about. Danny?
Well, Donny haven't scored since opening day, so I think it'll be Sod's Law they'll score against us. But, like with our high XG rating, it's bound to just click at some point, and we're going to absolutely pace somebody. I don't think we'll pace Donny because they do have that little bit of quality about them, even though they've only drawn a game this season. So I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going ballsy with that one.
I like it. I like style. Yeah, so that's that. Like we mentioned, Donny have scored only 1 goal. Their keeper has saved a few penalties this season, so that's something to watch out for. If we get a penalty, it seems at least 2 this season. So I haven't just missed one. No, their keeper.
Oh,
They won a penalty shootout as well. They won a penalty shootout in the round 2, in my first round of League Cup as well.
I thought you said we'd had 2 penalties. I'm like,
No. It's called Pontus Dahlberg or Dahlberg or something. I haven't got his name in front of me, but he's on loan from Watford and he's fairly highly rated by Watford. So the finish point.
Mick, would you ever been outside?
I know. No, I wouldn't have him on bench. There's no room on bench left, is there? We've got an extra player on bench anyway. So, you know what I mean?
The final point to talk about for in Rotherham United terms is that we have an enforced international break coming up. We were meant to play Lincoln City next Saturday. That's now been pushed back to the 10 days later, the 14th, a Tuesday night. To be fair, a night game in Lincoln is better than a day game in Lincoln. The atmosphere under the lights, it's going to be very, very special, very good, as it was last time when Matt Crooks scored the winner, I'm sure. Pretty good, Mick. We've got a couple of injuries with Chio. Chio gets a couple of weeks off. I'm interested to see who the internationals are, because we know that Shane Ferguson's one of them. Chio hasn't been called up, and there needs to be at least 3 people called up to an internationals for you to allow a game to be postponed. JJ is going to be one of them, you assume, under 21s of the Republic of Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Wes Harding, I would have thought, was likely to be one of them, but Jamaica are about to be put on the red list, which means he won't be allowed to go play for Jamaica because clubs aren't allowing their players to go play for red list countries. So that means there's one more player being called for international duty that we don't know of.
Not necessarily. He might have had the call, and until it goes on the red list, the game's still going ahead. So the postponement's been made now, and so that's the end of that. They're not going to re-postpone it and bring it back just because something's changed. Although it is EFL, who knows? But they'll be too busy. They'll be too busy worrying about how they're going to get around this derby issue, aren't they? So they've got their minds on other things at the minute in EFL. So
yeah, fair enough. Ben, how big time does it feel that we get to cancel games for internationals? How big time's that?
Have we ever had that?
I can't remember that ever happening. We've had a couple of internationals. I don't know if ever had this many.
It's good, man. It's very good. Like, it's promising. Coyote's promising. If it is Harding, that's promising because that's going to boost his confidence. If it's not, that's even more promising. Yeah, it's good, man. Who do you say the other one is? Coyote, Harding, and who?
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Although he's potentially injured.
Yeah, which is another reason why I don't think they'll risk him on Saturday when we don't need to.
Yeah, possibly. Wouldn't it be hilarious if we had an international break and none of our players were at international duty?
Yeah.
Which is possible at this point. Let's hope it doesn't happen because we like to see Miller's players play. Yeah. The Donny game is in the international break with the JPT Papa John's, but that is still going ahead as far as I know. I don't think that'll get changed. Although you never know, I suppose. So that's all I have. Is anybody else got anything to do before I finish up?
Can we not just call it the Pointless Trophy this season instead of the whatever it's called? Can we not just call it the Pointless Trophy?
What, the Papa John's one?
Yeah, it just makes it a bit easier, doesn't it? Because we call it the Papa John's or whatever it's called. It's just a suggestion, that's all. I'll put it in the suggestion box at the end.
It depends if we get far in it. If we get to final November, then we'll call it by its proper name.
Clearly, it's important then.
So, what's it? Is it Checker Trade?
Papa John's.
No, was it the Checker Trade?
And JPT, yeah.
JP Johnson. Wow, that's it.
It was Johnson Spain, then Checker Trade, then it was leasing.com for a season.
It used to be the LDV Vans Trophy, Ben. It used to be the Ultimate Shield, obviously. It was briefly just the Football League Trophy because they couldn't get a sponsor for it. Mick, any others ones? There were some Freight Rovers. Yeah,
Freight Rover Trophy as well. There's been a few more. I can't remember what it will call. There's just been so many, which just even that in itself devalues it.
It does, yeah.
And now it's just a reserve team trophy in it for Premier League.
The The only thing that's made it, the only thing that's made it slightly better is that the trophy doesn't change. What used to happen was the trophy changed with each sponsor. So the Auto Windscreen Shield was a shield, and then when it was the LDV Vans Trophy, it turned into a trophy, and then it just had different trophies for different sponsors. It was just crazy. But that's the same now. Anyway. So, thank you all. Thank you all for watching, listening. Thank you everyone who's watched our YouTube channel over the last week or so. 3,000 views combined over our podcast and Danny's Matchday vlog. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Over 300 subscribers on there, so everything's moving up there. We do really appreciate everybody that's got involved, even the Wednesday fans that have commented and everything. I don't know what we're going to do now. There's no Wednesday fans commenting on this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I do just want to say thank you to the kind messages from a few Wednesday fans, because a few were a bit, what are you doing, this, that, and other, and a few have messaged me saying it is a really good podcast. It's just a shame. It's just a shame. That you blow up with against Wednesday, but it is a really good podcast, and I have got a couple following me now who say they will keep an eye on the podcast just to keep an eye on what we're doing. You know, not like they're watching other clubs' podcasts and all sinful. It's just to keep an eye on us because apparently we're entertaining.
We try,
which is nice.
Yeah. If you anybody that's not watched already, our YouTube channel is going to be busy over the next few days, as you can imagine. We've got this out on YouTube. The Scouting Report with Liam Oden is up there as well. And after the weekend, Danny's Matchday vlog will be also up. And hopefully this time we have some Rotherham celebrations rather than the other team. I quickly enjoyed it. We can't talk about the swearing part, Danny, but particularly the Jack Hunt part. That was, I know you're scared at Rotherham fans, but the abuse we were getting, they turned around and gave that was just brilliant. I really enjoyed that.
My favourite bit was someone yelling, "Oi, peacock, you squirrel!" That after I stopped recording our in bits, that was so funny. But no, it were. I did have to cut a few bits out because there was a very naughty word in it. And someone next to me broke the advertising board out of frustration as well.
I saw that. Yeah, I thought you might. I thought meant you'd done it.
No, and someone kicked it next to me, and I just looked down and go, and then things lagging off. Well, that's been needing fixing for the last 3 seasons because I'm the one who broke the furthest bolt, and then someone else broke the middle one.
It's that.
It's frustrating watching Rotherham United, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we get a break after this episode. After this next game, we get a break. So,
yeah.
If you want to donate to Mick wearing this football shirt, you can do for £400 and something pounds already. Thank you. We're not going to start name checking everybody because I don't think that's right. But there's some really kind people that's donated already. If you fancy it, go to our Twitter feed. It's the pinned tweet on our profile, or just go on newyorktalk.co.uk and click on the Rotherham Hospice logo. That will take you. That's a hyperlink, which will take you to the Just Giving page. And yeah, let's see how much money we can raise. And obviously, we will get the Barry Bannon shirt. And this part's not for Rotherham fans. The Barry Bannon shirt will be auctioned off within the next week or so, probably on eBay. But we'll let you know one way or another. Depends on what we decide and what's easiest and more convenient for everybody, not just people bidding on it, because we've got to get it out.
The main part of it is to make as much money as we can and that refuse to pay eBay fees. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But we will do whatever we can. Obviously, the point is to raise as much money as we can for the Rotherham Hospice. So, and the fantastic work that they do there.
Absolutely stinking lovely. Danny's house is falling down, so let's end it. Thank you all for watching, listening. We do really appreciate it. We're going to drag it out for a couple more minutes so Mick has to continue wearing that shirt. Ben, it's always been a pleasure. Ben, do you think you'd ever be stupid enough to put a bet forward where you have to wear a Wednesday shirt?
No.
Danny, do you think you'd ever be stupid enough to put a bet where you... Although Danny said if we make $2,000, he'd wear one.
Yeah. No, well, no. I put it the gauntlet out saying if we made 2K, we'd all wear one. But no, if it's for charity, like we read those days, you do anything for charity, don't you? So if it means wearing a Chef Wednesday shirt and it's a charity thing, then might as well. It's like if Chef Wednesday beat us again when we go to Hillsborough and we make some sort of daft comment again and we get clipped, we could try and do it again.
I will. There's no doubt about it. I will.
Yeah, if we do it again and then raise even more money, then potentially I'll wear one. but it won't be one at modern ones because I think the design's a bit naff. I'd have to get one at older ones.
Mick, any regrets?
No, not really. No, I mean it's been difficult. It's been difficult. It's always difficult doing this podcast, staring back at myself on this camera because of the way I look. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's not a pleasant thing. I have to look at it in the mirror every day. So it's been even worse having to look at myself wearing this. But on the flip side of it, listen, to all the Sheffield Wednesday supporters that have donated to this, I just want to say thank you. It's fantastic.
And Rotherham fans.
Listen, well, I expect nothing less from Rotherham fans, you know, because we are better.
Ironically, we've raised 442.
Yeah, well,
It's a sign.
I'm going on FanHub to change my prediction for weekend for the team prediction now. Very 4-4-2.
So we'll end it there. Thank you very much. We will see you all on Monday morning for the review of the Doncaster game, and we will see you all very, very soon.
Pringle looking towards Agard. Ravel, ambitious.